Good evening, you're watching Channel 5 and My 5. Time to head to the studio for a look at today's top stories and a check on the weather. Here's Dan with 5 News at 5.
Good evening, welcome to 5 News with me, Dan Walker. Tonight, an astonishing survival story. Just look at this, a Japan Airlines plane in flames as it lands in Tokyo after colliding with a smaller aircraft on the runway. All 379 passengers and crew got out alive, but 5 people on the smaller plane sadly died. The whole story coming your way, also on the programme. Now, Happy New Year for the NHS. A new warning, the service is on its knees as junior doctors prepare for the longest strike in its history. New rules on XL bully dogs have kicked in, but will they work and will owners follow them? And
there is no sign of this teenage dream coming to an end. Luke Littler sweeps aside another.
The dream continues for the Warrington Wonder Boy. The 16-year-old is just 2 wins away from being the youngest world darts champion ever. He also takes a decent selfie.
From across the UK, this is 5 News.
Good evening and welcome to 5 News. We're going to start tonight with an amazing escape from the plane we're going to show you on the screen here. Remarkable footage you're about to see. It crashed at an airport in Japan after a collision with a smaller aircraft, and it seems unbelievable, but all of the crew and passengers on board this burning airliner, that's 379 people in total, managed to get out. No one was seriously injured. Sadly, 5 members of the crew of that second smaller plane were killed, but the loss of life could have been so much worse. Daniel Rosney has the story. I'm sure we'll talk about that a lot more over the course of the year, but we've got a question for you now. What is your New Year resolution? Have you got one at all? Will you keep it? Maybe you've broken it already. Let us know. We'll read out a few of them later. We would love a great cross-section as well. So if they're big, if they're small, whatever they are, you're more than welcome. You know the drill. 07555 500 501 is where you can find us. If you're giving up alcohol, if that's on your list, maybe stick around because we've got some advice from a former heavy drinker who's successfully gone sober. And that's coming up just after the break. And also, Claire has got the forecast.
Hello there, good evening. Storm Henk will clear tonight, although some challenging weather this evening in terms of wind and rain across England and Wales. Showery tomorrow, but some sunshine in between. See you in a while.
Thank you, Claire. It's far too much rain around, isn't there? We'll see you in a moment. Welcome back to 5 News. Now, parts of Japan have been hit by a deadly series of earthquakes. The massive tremors hit a central region around here in Monday afternoon. The epicentre, a place called Noto, which is around 200 miles away from the capital, Tokyo. At least 48 people are confirmed to have died, and homes have been totally flattened, roads completely destroyed. Simon Vigar has the details. Interesting what you said about the next generation as well, about how that relationship is changing, not just here, but in other countries too. Really lovely to see you both. Happy New Year to the pair of you as well.
Thank you.
All these resolutions coming in, they're not all about alcohol. Spencer is in Sittingbourne. He says, my New Year's resolution is to put my shoes in a cupboard when I come indoors so that Rupert the dog doesn't carry them around the house. Rupert, sort yourself out. After the break, we'll be having a look at a very big year ahead. We've got elections looming, both here and in America. Don't forget the Olympics and the Euros. We will be covering it all for you. And we'll be talking to an air accident investigator about what can be learned from that horrific plane collision in Japan today. Let's have a quick look at the weather for you, and we'll see you in just a second.
The power of nature meets the power of science. Weather on Channel 5, sponsored by Sterimar Breathe Easy Daily Nasal Spray.
Storm Henk was named earlier today, bringing impacts through this evening, clipping Northern Ireland. Dry skies for some, but sunshine and showers across England and Wales. Some of these heavy, windy towards the south.
Ready for anything with the Winter Activities Report, sponsored by Bronco Stop Cough Syrup.
Welcome back. Thanks for being with us. It is, look at that, exactly 5:30. Here are the top 5 things you need to know today. They're all in the screen. First up, a 16-year-old who was arrested after this boy, Harry Pitton, was stabbed to death on New Year's Eve in London, has been released on bail. Police want to hear from anyone who was there. 2, a bad start to the year for Wayne Rooney. He's sacked as the Birmingham City manager after 83 days in charge. 15 games, he only had 2 wins in that time. Junior doctors are going on strike again. We'll be talking about this. They're walking out for 6 days from tomorrow. NHS bosses are warning there'll be a significant impact on routine care. In Japan, 48 people are now known to have died after a powerful earthquake hit yesterday. All tsunami warnings have now been lifted, though. And also in Japan, our top story tonight, 5 people were killed when a Coast Guard plane collided with a passenger jet on the runway of Tokyo's Haneda Airport this morning. Thankfully and amazingly, all 379 people on board, passenger and crew, were safely evacuated from the main jet. Well, let's get a bit more on that for you right now. We're going to be joined by Steve Moss, who's a former Senior Chief Inspector, the Air Accident Investigation Branch. Thank you very much for talking to us. I know that we've got a few issues with our technology, but we'll try and have a good chat with you. Give us an idea of what we know so far. What do we know at the moment? We are talking about your New Year's resolutions as well, so do WhatsApp us on the 5 phone. There's still time, 07555 500 501. Plus, we'll be hearing from one couple who've made a huge life change, selling everything to spend the rest of their life on a cruise. And we've sent Peter on the trail of a young man who is definitely going to have a big year.
Teenager who really has hit the bullseye. Nice. It's an amazing success story, and we've come to where the story began.
Magic of TV, I'm sure. See you after the break. Thank you for being with us on 5 News tonight. We're going to do this now and take you around the world in 3 stories. First, a shocking one from South Korea, where a politician was stabbed during a public walkabout. We're not going to show you the moment itself, but the man is Lee Jae-myung. He's the opposition leader in South Korea, and this was the chaos after he was stabbed in the neck. It's not life-threatening, thankfully. A 67-year-old man has been arrested. Over to Madrid and an update on a big story from last year. We're going to show you the Spanish footballer Jenny Hermoso. This was her leaving court after giving evidence to a hearing about that kiss from Luis Rubiales at the World Cup final. She says it wasn't consensual. The hearing will decide whether he should be tried for sexual assault. And finally, New Jersey. This is a lovely one in the United States for some New Year twins. The 2 brothers you're about to see were born 40 minutes apart, but they don't share a birthday. They don't even share a birth year. Baby Ezra was born at 11:48 on the 31st of December. Ezekiel 12:28 on New Year's Day. Their parents understandably thrilled, and their dad, Billy there, was also a New Year's Eve baby when he was born, so plenty to celebrate. That is lovely, isn't it? And talking about young people, a few days ago, you probably wouldn't have recognised this teenager. Safe to say that 16-year-old Luke Littler, I know he doesn't look 16, is taking the darts world by storm. In fact, he's 2 wins away from becoming world champion. But where's he come from, and how did he get that good at such a young age? Well, Peter Lane has been taking a look at his journey so far. Listen, we wish you all the very best. Thank you so much for talking to us. Can we have a chat with you at some stage on board, when you get on board from about May onwards? It'd be lovely to have a little look around your cabin to see the life that you're now living together.
Yes, indeed. We'd love to do that.
That was a long wait, wasn't it? I thought they could say no chance. They got 2 toilets in that cruise ship, by the way, all in their own little apartment. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow for another 5 News. See you then.
The power of nature meets the power of science. Weather on Channel 5, sponsored by Sterimar Breathe Easy Daily Nasal Spray.